Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, hope you can see my
Hello, good
screen.
afternoon. Yes, we can see your screen, we can see your face, we even can hear your voice.
Okay, that's great. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hansamali Gamage. I work as a technical lead in Yukon Software, and also I'm a MVP in Microsoft Azure for 4 years. Today in today's session, I'm going to talk about the Power App components. We had great sessions, some great sessions on Power Apps, and a very detailed, informative sessions we had earlier. So hope you know about the Power Apps. So I will just give you like a very brief understanding for that. So we can create like applications, services, connectors, or kind of custom business related apps using Power Apps. So the beauty of Power Apps is it can be used for by a user that who doesn't have a very good experience in coding, or just it's who has some knowledge on logical sides, the flowcharts and all. By dragging and dropping some components into the screen, they can create their business related applications using Power Apps. But that can be used by the developers as well. So Power Apps community, they have introduced these code components, this component library, kind of new tool sets, like new areas into Power Apps to build more enriched features to the business users. So in today's session, I'm going to talk about the components. So you know about the Power Apps that we can have our data in a SharePoint list, or maybe in any other online or on-prem data source like SharePoint, or like Microsoft 365, Dynamic 365, or in a SQL database. You can show those data using Power Apps and integrate the data and the application using Power Apps. So those kind of features are there with Power Apps. So in components, so let's say you are building a user registration portal for your company. So in there you can have like multiple screens. Let's say we have like 10 to 12 screens. So in that 10 to 12 screens, you have a command header, footer, and you have uh, we can say you have a left side navigation panel. You can have you can have some chat pop up in the right side of the window. So those kind of controls will be there in your application. So if you are going to create this using Power Apps, you have to create headers in 12 screens. What happens if you want to like change the company logo? Maybe if you want to like change some font color in the title of the header, you have to do that for multiple times. So in order to avoid that thing, Microsoft announced this component framework and the component library to reuse these the controls or the built-in blocks for your Power Apps. So when you have a large application, this is going to be very helpful for you. It's going to reduce the duplication, and it's going to standardize the look and feel of the user interfaces you have. So I don't have prepared many slides in the PowerPoints, so we can straight away jump into the demo. So in there, I'm going to create some components, the header component, a list component, and a currency component in there, and I will be showing you how we can create a input type property inside this component, and how we can create a output property in these components. So I will move into the I will move into the demo screen. Give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. Hope you can see my Power Apps opened here. So I will first show you a sample application that I have created. So here I have three screens: home screen, and a screen to show all the recipes, and a screen to show screens to add the one recipe. So I will first run this application. It's a very simple application. So I will run this application. So we have the home panel, and the footer layout is there, and we have two buttons here. We can say it as some navigations. So if we click on the all recipes, it will go into this recipes list. So if you click on this add icon, so it will be prompting your screen to add a new recipe. This is very basic stuff. So I have created the list view kind of a component to select what is the recipe that you want to add, and we have this some controls here. This is a currency control, so you can provide some data here. So, and it does some validation. So if you have any if you have some currency related field in your applications, you can create one currency component and share that component inside the inside all of the screens. So, and it provides this validation as well. So that's going to make our lives easy. So we have to like say dollar something, and it should be two decimal numbers. So we have added a regular expression to validate that. Here this is a percentage component. So if you have any percentage input in your screens, so you can use this. This is not only for your application, you can share these components throughout the organization as well. We should have the percentage mark here. So it's a very basic example actually. So I will first move into the component. So this is the screens. So I have three screens. So in order to create these three screens, I have used these components. The first one is the header component and the footer component, and I have introduced another component called command component to have these icons or the buttons here to create something or to save something. Likewise, in our examples, to create a recipe, save a recipe. So this is a choice picker component I have got, but I'm using that for this here for to create a add recipe, to select what is the recipe type, and here in the all recipes screen to show all the recipes we have. I am using the same component, this choice picker component. And we have the currency component, and this is the discount component that we have have with the percentage mark. And this is the button navigation component. Using this button navigation component, in the home screen I have created this the navigations using the buttons. So that's what I am going to demo today. So first we can this is kind of a sample application I have done. So we can move to the Power Apps environment. Yeah. So here you can go to apps, So if you have enabled the preview features, still Power Apps components is in preview, so it's not officially released. So let's not use Power App component libraries or the components in your production applications, but it will soon, or maybe most of the time it will released for public, so then we can safely start with component libraries and components in your production environments. Until now we can like play around and see how easy it's to create components and drag and drop it in our screens. So in order to have this preview features, we have to do some modifications when we are creating an app. So let's first create our first app with Power App components. So I will click on new app and then canvas. I will provide a name like recipe demo 1 and hit on create. Okay, I will say skip. uh, so here we have created the Power App, but we want to first of all we can save it, and we have to enable the preview features because we want to use the components and component libraries here. So I will save it and we'll go to the settings section. In there we have upcoming features. In there you have to switch on the components. Here it's going to enable the components and the component library. So I will close this one. Then we are not starting with screens at first. Let's start with components. Okay, so I will create my new component and I will say that's the header component. Yeah. Give me a moment. I will say component. Okay. Okay. So first of all, we are going to create the header component. Let's create just the basic. Let's add the basic control here. Just a label. So I will say the label text as let's say all recipes, and we'll make this text alignment as center, and we'll just make some this label just bit bigger. Let's drag this bit up downwards, and all recipes header. So you can if you want, we can the labels. Now I want to have a kind of a label here to show a welcome message to user. In every of my screens I want to have this header. So in there you have to show what is the screen is. It's all recipes, create a new recipe, update or delete, and also you want to show hi Hansamali or hi user. So I will change this text to this, and I want to add a nice color to this one, this label as well. So I will go to background color and add something like this, and so this one I will put this high user label as well, and I want another label to show the current date. So for that I will just hard code this date for now. 2021 can yeah, 2021 15th October 2021, and I will get this label to here. So here we have the font size as 13. I will just make it a bit bigger here to this label, 12, like yeah, 12, this label. Okay, looks good. So, and I will save this, and I want to add a icon as well to move into the home screen. In wherever screen, in whichever screen I will be, I want to click on this home icon and move into the home screen. So I will add the icon here. Let's try to add the home icon. Okay, and I will color this as black. Oh no, I think I want to, yep. So we have the home screen, the home icon here, little bit to the right side, and then the component is created. So I will move into my screens. So in your Power App, so we just created as recipe demo 1. So you can see you have the components tab here, and you have one component in the screen. You have the screen tab as well. So if you want, you can add this header component to here to test out whether this works, this looks fine. You can play this one and see, or else you can create another component. Maybe let's say in your organization, your team is responsible to create these component libraries, and the other you have another team, they are specialized on creating Power Apps using the component libraries you have created. So I will create another Power App outside here. So I will go to apps, new app. I will save this demo 2. Apologies for my this childish names in the Power Apps. I will say recipe demo 2. So we have the screens and we have the components here, and the experiment, the preview features are switched on. So we have saved this component, and I will try to add this recipe demo 1 component into my demo 2. So I could have given some better names. So here you can click on this insert, and you can see down there, you will see this get more components link is enabled. So I will click on get more components. So now you can see the component libraries you have in your organization. So if I move into the home page in the Power Apps, so if you click on the apps, you can see 2 tabs. You have some apps here, and you have some component libraries here. Okay. uh, I think we have to let's say now we have these two component libraries, so we have to start from here. I will start from here to create the component library, otherwise I will not be able to share this outside your application. You can use these component inside this screen but not to the outside, so you have to start with creating the component library here. So I will give you a better name, like recipe demo 1 library, and I will create this one. Let's check we can. I don't think we can paste it, so it's my bad. I will recreate this again. I will give the name as all recipes, and a little some modifications to the text here, and I will add another label, two labels to show the hello user, the font size to 12. Yep, here the date 15/2021 and the test 10, I don't know, 12. Here I will make this as 14, and I will give this a nice background like this, and I will put this label here and this label here. Oh. Okay, and I will add the icon as well, home icon. So I'm doing the steps that we have done in the in here. So we have created the component inside the Power App, not in the component library section. So that's why we can't see it here, and also we have to publish that as well in order to use it outside from your application. So I will say this, and we'll save this recipe demo library and save. It will take some time. I will move this to this next step. So I haven't shared this yet. So now I have created just an empty Power App, and I'm trying to get some components, but I can't see this one here. So we have to share this one, and let's say import here, and under library components you can see the all recipes component here, and here you can see the versions as well. So we have the first version here in this recipe demo library, and this is the component we have created. So I will say edit, I will leave this tab. Yeah, so this is the screen we are creating, but you can see when we are like when we want to resize this into the whole screen, the component doesn't comply our wishes. So it has a specific width and height. Beyond that, it doesn't work in our application. So we have to do some changes here. So in order to have this proper width for the application and for the height, we will not the height is perfect for us for a header component. So we want to work out something for the width. So in here we have component, and this the big label that we have the header text and this hello user and the date, the main label. So we have to resize both of these in order to have align this in the Power App perfectly. So for that we have to do something with the width. For that we have to do some calculations. It's not like the calculations, we have to do some custom functions for the width to occupy the whole width of the Power App that we are going to use. So in the component section, so I think you are clear, we are in the component library here. So that's why I just created the component library from the scratch, and we are in the Power App in the next tab. So for the width, we can't put any kind of stuff in the properties tab here. So you have to move into the advanced properties of the label. So I'm in the label. So we have to find width. So there you are allowed to add anything other than it's not restricted only for numbers. So I want to get I want to comply this the label into my Power App. So I want to get the width of my Power App, the width of the screen. So I will say app.width. Then it's just perfectly, it will work perfectly in our Power Apps as well. So I have given the app.width for the label. So for the component, I will go there and go to the width section. So I will say app.width. And for the height, since I don't want to have this long white space here, so I will go to the label. So I have given the height as 83. Maybe it's so I will say this some yeah, maybe 80. Okay, so I will do the same for the component height as well. 80. So you have the component here. So I am saving the changes here, and I will move to my Power App. So I want to there's a one like a good thing. So we developers often don't know whether we want to have the updated changes from the component library. So when you are opening your Power App, so there's a feature. So in your Power App, if you have any components integrated, you will get a notification these components has been updated when you are opening the application. So for that I will go back and go to the main screen. So this is the so here, so I have saved the changes. I will go to here and say edit. I want to edit my Power App, and there maybe I have yeah, maybe I have opened the wrong one. It should be so I will refresh. Maybe I have opened the wrong application. It it says I can't find the demo 2. I will go to the edit and see where I have done any mistake. So I will remove this component to be. So we have the screen, we don't have any components here. So I will go to this the screens here and insert, get more components and refresh, so you can see the demo 1 recipe demo 1 library component library. Inside there we have the component, and we'll say import, and under library components you will see your component. Okay, so now if we try to resize the header, but it's not yet working as we expected. We have saved this component library, but we haven't published this one. It says all changes are saved but not published. So I will say publish, and I will publish this version in order to get the update automatically. So I will save this one and will open it again, demo 1. Okay, so then hopefully you will get a notification the integrated component 1 is changed, whether you want to get the update or not. So I will review it and I will say yes. Then you can see you got your component for the whole app.width. So when you resize the component, it works perfectly. It works for the whole. It covers the width of your application, right? Height, the height doesn't matter for the header. This height will be okay. But you can see some problems. These two labels are not aligned properly. So here we have to align this. So for that, there's no problem with the height and width. The problem is with the position, the x and y coordinates here. So for that, y coordinates are fine. The problem is with the x coordinates here, right? So I want to do some add some formula for this that's aligned with the app.width. Okay, so I can't do any things here, so I can't type any characters here other than the numbers. So I will move to the advanced and the X position. So here I will say something like this. And for this label also I will say something app.width and minus 140, but it's not correct. Yeah, 150 would work. Let's say 150. And for this as well I will change as 150. Yeah, I think that looks good. Now I will save this quickly, and I want to publish that. If not, the other application that using this component library will not get the changes. So I want to go back and come again, or else what you can do is you have to like completely remove the component and add it. The new component. So now it looks good. Okay, so that's the look look of the component, we want to have add some functionalities as well, and also we want to add some properties for these labels. If not, we are not going to show all recipes in all the pages, right? So let's add some custom properties here. So in there I will be talking about the input and output properties. So for this screen I will say I want to add the in this label, for this label we have the text property. For that text property I want to create a property there. For the text I want to create a custom property for this component, header component. Or I will no, I will not rename. If it's going to make some changes there. So if I click on the whole component here and go to property, so I want to create this custom property for this component to hold the header text. So I will create a custom property called header text, and the property type would be the input. So input means when you are integrating this component inside the application in a Power App, you have to input the custom property header text. So I will create this as an input, and the data type is text, and create this. Then here if you move to the label and text, you have to say this is the component 1. So in the component 1 we have created the header text property. So here in the label you have to say so I want to access that custom property header text. So you have to say component 1 dot, when you put the dot mark, then you can see all the custom properties you have created. So let's say header text. Okay, and we'll save this one and we'll publish this one quickly, and I will go back and try to open the application. Yeah, demo 2. Now it shows the demo 2. I will go to edit. So you can see the all versions also in the component library. So we have created some versions, multiple versions here. This is the latest version. So we added some alignment things, and we added this custom property. So you can roll back to these versions as well. Okay, so I will say skip and review, and yes, I want the update. So now when you click on the component here, so you can see the header text custom property we have created, and you can say this is recipes. So likewise you can give some inputs to the properties that we have created. So I will go to edit, and I will quickly do the same for the other two labels. So I want to have a custom welcome message here and the current date to this label. So I will at first I want to create a custom property called, let's say, welcome message. You can provide the name and description here. An input property, text field, create, and that should goes as the text. Component 1, I will rename this. It's not So it has been changed. Okay, here component welcome message and save. And for the other label, I want to create another custom property, new custom property called current date. The property type here is input. The data type, we have multiple data types to select from. So I will go with date and time and say create. So here for the text here, so if you can rename these labels and align it properly, like welcome message and current date and time, that will be easier. So I will say component. I should have the current date here and save. And another thing, when I click on the home button, so I should have that also in a variable. So we can define a property for that. We can say a navigate. We can say this the property for this is like a navigation screen. So I will create a property for the header component called navigation screen. Whatever the screen you provide in your app, it will navigate into that screen when you click on that icon. So that's what the behavior we want. The property type is input. The data type we can select as screen and create here. Okay, so here we have the current date as now, and for the navigation screen, yeah, we can have the update active screen, but for the icon we want to do some modifications to the icon here. So that would be so for the icon, what is the property we have to take? We can say on select for the icon. So you can provide navigate function, and you have to pass navigate, and you have to pass the screen that you want to navigate into. So in header component, you want to provide that with the input property that we have created. So the name is navigation screen, and so in our component we have these 4 properties, all are input type. So I will publish this one. The changes are saved but not published. So when you click on publish only, it will say your changes are saved and published. So I will go back here. Open it. I will open it quickly and review when I want the changes. Okay, so if you click on the component here, so you can see the my recipe, the header text, and these message, all the properties are there. The welcome message is missing. Let's see why is that. Uh, So you want to provide a welcome message here. So I will go to text. Welcome message is there. I don't know why it's not showing. Maybe we are not allowed to put change that from here. Okay, so I will change it from here. Hello. Maybe I will use some other name just to check the alignment and everything. And this is already for the date. So you can say the date is the now. So I can put this in here, current date, and yeah, you can change that from here as well. Or to remove the double quotes. Okay, and there's some bit of alignment changes we have to work on. And here for the navigation screen, I want to create a new screen then here, because we have only one screen. So I will maybe duplicate this screen. I will give a name for the header text. I will say new recipe, and so here you can say app dot screen 1.1 underscore. Not picking up correctly. I will just rename this as my recipes, so that's easier then. Rename as recipe. So for the navigation screen, we don't want to have app. We can specify the screen name as recipe and save. So in add recipe we have new recipe. So in my recipe screen, if I play this, then we have to do some changes into this label here. And if I click on this icon, it goes to new recipe. So you can do the changes in here, because so I have moved to the component library, so you can do some changes to the font. Something like this, and save and try to get the changes to here after publishing. But before that, now we have worked with the header component. Quickly I will move into the output properties as well. So if not, we will not have much time. So I will create another component. I will rename this as currency component. Okay. In currency component, I want to have a text box. So I will insert a text box here, and I want to have a toggle button as well. Toggle here. Okay, so for this one, for the toggle, I want to add some colors like then blue, green. For the text input, so for the whole component, now let's start creating the custom properties here. So I want a custom input property to get the input of this text box. So I will call that as price. Price, that's a input property, and that's the type of currency. So yeah, this one, and create. So we want to bind that created input property into this text box. For by default, for the default property of the text box, I want to say whatever the input that user is going to provide, I want to put that input to the currency component. Dot, the property we have created is price, and save. And for the toggle, we want to have another custom property. So what's that? So for the toggle, so it's not when this form loads, the user can type some inputs to the text box, then according to that the entered value, the toggle needs to be switch on or switch off. So in order to hold that toggle switch on or switch off Boolean value, we want to create a output property, not an input property. So I will create a custom property. As since this is Boolean, I will say this is currency, and this is not an input property, output property. The data type should be Boolean, and click on create. So we have the is currency output property here. And so if we go to the toggle, and it's not we need to have by default when the form loads, and without doing any changes to the toggle, just based on the input, the text input the user has provided, toggle needs to be switched on and switch off. So then we have to go to the default section, default property here, and then it's the currency component dot, the output property we have created is currency, and I will say okay. For that, so we want to have some validation whether this currency is like validated or not. We want to do some changes in there. So we want to have some logic behind there. So for that, we have to do something like this. So we have these properties, input and output property. So based on this input price value, we want to do some changes into the output is currency. So for that, so in there, if you click on the component, okay, we have the price and we have the is currency here. So it's always true. So if we say false, turns red, but this needs to be changed based on a validation. Okay, so that should be a kind of a regular expression like this. So I'm going to create the regular expression on that custom output property. You can say this is a custom function that we are going to write in our component library. So this is just a small regex to check whether this the text that we are entered is in this format. $10, that's also valid, dot some 2 decimal points. So I will copy this regex here and put it here and say save, and it says off here, right, the red here. So if I go into price and say dollar, so here the problem is we are not allowing the text fields to the price section, the price property. So because of that, I will undo this, undo the dollar mark here. It only allows the number. So I will save this one, and I will publish this. I think I'm running out of time. I will, so this is the new component. So I will go to add recipe, insert, get more components, and we have in the demo library we have the currency component. I will go here, and library components, we have the currency component, so we have to do some alignments here. Okay, so if you go to the screens and currency component, so you have to provide the price here. So since I'm having like only 5 minutes, I'm not going to do this. So I will go to the currency component here, and you can see the custom property price here. So we have set up the price to this value, and for the toggle, so this is the currency component here that I have taken. So we have if we click on the currency component, that you can't see that is currency output property is available because it's an output property. So when I hit this one, and if I say another value, I will go to the new recipe. Seems like not editable. Maybe I have opened this in multiple tabs. Seems like not editable, this one. I don't know why is that. Since I'm running out of time, I have like 2 minutes left. So I will just try to go through the components here. So this is the choice picker component that we couldn't work on. So this is the component. So I have taken this choice picker component, and in there I have created the items input property here, so that I have the data type set as the table, and another output property for the selected item. So if I go here, that's a text field, so that's the output property, whatever the selected item for this one. So if I go into the add recipe and show you the choice picker component, in there we have to set up the items. So I have created these 2 records in there, and I have taken a label to show up the you selected whatever the selected one. So in there I have used this selected item output property. Same as that, in the add recipes, I have used the same choice picker component in the all recipes. Here we have the items, so I haven't used the output property, the selected item here, but I have used the same choice picker component to show all the recipes with this. And I will show you the discount component also. So the discount component, same as the currency component, I have a text property, text input property here, and I have binded that to this text box, discount component dot discount, and then I have this output property boolean value is discount, so that I have binded this to this is discount here. And then if I go here, the discount, yeah, that's the component. Here for this discount needs to be changed on or off based on this discount text and this regex, so that I have incorporated to the add recipe here. So that's the demo. I couldn't do everything, apologies for that. So do you have any questions? So we could do the header component and the currency component.
Thank you so much, Hansamali. Is there any question from the floor?
And also, so you know about this, the quiz and the prizes. So you have to submit your answers by tomorrow 12 p.m. And also this is the social media channels that I'm using. And also I have to thanks for the these are more amazing sponsors. Without them, we won't be able to run this aMS Southeast Asia for this year, even though it's virtual. So thank you very much for them. And if you have any questions, you can drop me a mail or you can reach me on Twitter or LinkedIn.